Have you ever pondered why the Jewish community does not recognize Jesus as the Messiah, despite their profound historical and religious background? This intriguing question opens the door to understanding deeply rooted traditions and interpretations that are central to Jewish faith. Today we embark on a respectful and sensitive journey to explore this perspective. The expectation of a Messiah in Judaism is deeply anchored in the Hebrew Scriptures, intertwined with aspirations of national liberation, spiritual renewal, and a world-promised peace. Our exploration aims to illuminate the historical and theological reasons behind the Jewish viewpoint, underscoring the differences in messianic expectations and interpretations that have sculpted the religious landscapes of Judaism and Christianity. This discussion invites us to delve into the complexities of faith, belief, and the continuous search for mutual understanding across religious boundaries. The concept of the Messiah in Judaism is not just a cornerstone of faith, but a bridge to the anticipated future, promising redemption and the world's transformation. This expectation is rooted in the Hebrew Scriptures, where the Messiah is prophesied to be a descendant of King David, destined to lead Israel to a new era of peace, justice, and prosperity. Unlike the Christian interpretation, which sees Jesus fulfilling these prophecies through his spiritual salvation, Jewish tradition maintains a more terrestrial view of messianic deliverance, emphasizing political sovereignty and societal reform. Historically, the Jewish people have endured centuries of persecution and displacement, holding on to the messianic hope as a beacon of divine intervention and restoration. The Messiah's coming is seen as a pivotal event that will herald the rebuilding of the Temple in Jerusalem, gather all Jews back to the land of Israel, and initiate an age of peace among nations. This vision starkly contrasts with the Christian narrative, which interprets Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection as the fulfillment of messianic prophecy, transcending physical deliverance with spiritual salvation. The theological underpinnings of these differing views are deeply ingrained in the respective interpretations of scriptural texts. For instance, Christians see prophecies such as Isaiah 53, which speaks of a suffering servant, as clear indicators of Jesus' messianic role. In contrast, Jewish scholars argue that this and similar passages refer to the nation of Israel itself, or to a future messianic figure who is yet to appear. Moreover, the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah is not only about unmet expectations, but also aligns with a fundamental theological stance regarding the nature of God and humanity. Judaism firmly holds to the concept of a singular, indivisible God, and the notion of the divine taking human form, as in the Christian view of Jesus, is incongruent with Jewish monotheism. Additionally, the Jewish tradition emphasizes the direct relationship between God and his people, mediated by adherence to the Torah, rather than through the intercession of a messianic figure for salvation. This historical and theological context sets the stage for understanding the complex and nuanced reasons behind the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah. It reflects a deep commitment to specific interpretations of biblical texts, historical experiences, and theological principles that have defined Jewish identity and faith throughout the ages. The Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah is intricately linked to a combination of theological interpretations, scriptural analysis, and historical context. This stance is not merely a superficial disagreement, but is rooted deeply in Jewish religious identity and understanding of messianic prophecy. Central to this rejection is the nature of messianic expectations within Judaism, which are detailed extensively in the Hebrew Scriptures. The Jewish Messiah, as prophesied, is envisioned as a leader who will achieve specific, tangible outcomes: the restoration of the Jewish kingdom, the rebuilding of the Temple in Jerusalem, the ingathering of Jews from the diaspora back to their homeland, and the ushering in of a global era of peace and divine justice. These expectations are deeply terrestrial and focus on political and societal transformation rather than spiritual salvation. From the Jewish perspective, Jesus did not fulfill these criteria during his lifetime, particularly with respect to the restoration of Israel and the rebuilding of the Temple. Further compounding the issue are the divergent interpretations of scriptural texts. Passages in the Hebrew scriptures that Christians often cite as foretelling the coming of Jesus are interpreted quite differently within Jewish tradition. For example, the prophecy of the suffering servant in Isaiah 53, which Christians view as a clear prediction of Jesus' life and sacrificial death, is seen by Jewish scholars as referring to the nation of Israel itself, or to a collective suffering of the Jewish people rather than an individual messianic figure. This difference in scriptural interpretation underscores a fundamental divide in how each religion understands prophecy and its fulfillment. The theological distinctions between Judaism and Christianity also play a crucial role in the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah. Jewish theology is characterized by strict monotheism, emphasizing the oneness and indivisibility of God. The concept of the Trinity, central to Christian belief which posits Jesus as both God and the Son of God, is irreconcilable with Jewish monotheistic principles. Furthermore, the Messiah in Jewish thought is expected to be a human leader, anointed by God to fulfill a divine mission on earth, without embodying any aspect of divinity himself. This contrasts sharply with the Christian doctrine of the Incarnation, which posits Jesus as both fully divine and fully human. The notion of covenant is another critical area of divergence. In Judaism, the covenant between God and the Jewish people, as articulated in the Torah, is based on a mutual agreement where the observance of God's laws is met with divine protection and blessing. This covenant is understood to be eternal and unchanging. The Christian concept of a new covenant established through Jesus' death and resurrection, which offers salvation to humanity irrespective of adherence to the Torah, represents a theological departure that challenges the continuity and exclusivity of the Jewish covenant with God. Moreover, the historical relationship between Jews and Christians cannot be overlooked. Centuries of persecution, forced conversions, and anti-Semitic teachings in Christian theology have left a lasting impact on Jewish perceptions of Christianity. This tumultuous history has contributed to a deep-seated wariness among Jews towards Christian messianic claims, further reinforcing theological and scriptural reasons for rejection. In summary, the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah is rooted in a complex tapestry of religious, scriptural, and historical factors. It reflects a deep commitment to Jewish theological principles, interpretations of prophecy, and the historical identity of the Jewish people. This stance is not simply a refusal to accept a religious figure, but a reaffirmation of a distinct religious identity and tradition. Building upon the foundational reasons for the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah outlined in the first part, it's crucial to delve into additional layers of theological nuance and historical context that further illuminate this stance. One significant aspect is the expectation of universal recognition and peace. According to Jewish prophecy, the arrival of the Messiah will be marked by a period of unparalleled global peace and divine justice, recognized universally across all nations and peoples. This era is characterized not only by the absence of war, but by a deep spiritual awakening where the knowledge of God permeates every aspect of human existence. The historical reality and the state of the world since the time of Jesus have not aligned with these prophecies from the Jewish perspective, reinforcing their belief that the Messiah has yet to come. Moreover, the concept of the Messiah within Judaism is intrinsically linked to the idea of tikkun olam, or the repair of the world. This mission involves both the physical restoration of Israel and a broader transformation towards a more just and ethical society worldwide. The Jewish understanding of the Messiah's role encompasses not only religious leadership but also political and social reform, aimed at elevating the condition of humanity in the world. The mission and teachings of Jesus, as interpreted and valued in Christianity, focus significantly on spiritual salvation and personal redemption, which, while profoundly meaningful, do not fully address the Jewish expectations of Messianic age, societal transformation. The theological debate also extends to the nature of the Messianic era itself. In Jewish thought, the Messiah's reign will be marked by the adherence to Jewish law and the commandments, with a renewed focus on Torah study and observance. This period is seen as a culmination of Jewish religious life, not a departure from it. The Christian interpretation, which sees Jesus as establishing a new covenant that supersedes the old, poses a direct challenge to the continuity and significance of Jewish law, further distancing Jewish acceptance of Jesus as their Messiah. Historical skepticism also plays a role. Throughout history, there have been numerous individuals who have claimed the mantle of the Jewish Messiah, each leading to disappointment and often disaster for the Jewish communities that believed in them. This historical experience has instilled a cautious approach within Jewish tradition towards messianic claims, emphasizing a need for skepticism and critical evaluation. The claims surrounding Jesus are thus viewed through a lens informed by past experiences, where the unfulfilled expectations and criteria for the Messiah have led to a cautious stance on any claims of messianic fulfillment. Finally, it's important to recognize the impact of religious identity and continuity. The rejection of Jesus as the Messiah is not merely a theological or historical stance, but a reflection of the Jewish commitment to their religious identity and continuity. Accepting Jesus as the Messiah would not only require reinterpreting centuries of religious tradition and belief, but would also represent a fundamental shift in Jewish self-understanding. This aspect of religious identity, deeply intertwined with the community's history, practices, and hopes for the future, serves as a significant factor in the continued rejection of Jesus as the Messiah within Judaism. The Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah is a multifaceted stance rooted in theological, historical, and cultural foundations. It reflects deep-seated beliefs about the nature of the Messiah, the expectations for the Messianic era, and a commitment to the continuity and integrity of Jewish religious identity. This perspective, while distinct and separate from Christian beliefs, underscores the diversity and complexity of religious understanding and the importance of respecting these differences in interfaith dialogue. In today's world, the dialogue between Judaism and Christianity has grown into a journey of mutual respect and understanding, transcending historical conflicts and theological disputes. This era of dialogue is marked by a collective effort to focus on shared values and ethical teachings, while acknowledging and learning from the painful aspects of their intertwined histories. Initiatives bringing together scholars, clergy, and members of both faiths have fostered a deeper appreciation for each tradition's uniqueness and common grounds. Acknowledging the complex history of Jewish-Christian relations, including the struggle with anti-Semitism, has paved the way for reconciliation and collaborative efforts towards common goals. The dialogue has not only led to a re-examination of contentious theological differences, such as the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah, but also highlighted the importance of focusing on shared aspirations for peace, justice, and the betterment of humanity. This respectful exchange has underscored the significance of understanding and valuing religious diversity, demonstrating that while fundamental beliefs may differ, the path towards mutual respect and cooperation is not only possible but enriching. The current interfaith dialogue embodies a hopeful vision for the future, emphasizing empathy, respect, and the pursuit of shared values as cornerstones for a harmonious global community. In today's interconnected world, the respectful dialogue between Judaism and Christianity reveals a mutual journey towards understanding and reconciliation. Despite deep-rooted theological differences, notably the Jewish rejection of Jesus as the Messiah, these conversations underscore a shared commitment to ethical values and peace. Acknowledging historical tensions while focusing on common ground, this dialogue fosters a richer appreciation of our diverse religious landscapes. As we continue to explore these complex beliefs with openness and respect, we pave the way for a more inclusive and harmonious global community.